So people who have already spent a lot of money on Universal Audio UAFX pedals, or who are in the process of spending money on UAFX pedals, or who have not spent money on UAFX pedals because you said, fuck that, they don't have MIDI and shit, and presets and all that stuff. Well, UA, when they released all these pedals, or actually back in the day when they released the Starlight and the Golden, the delay and the reverb, kind of messed up with their platform because they didn't give us a little headphone out. Stupid. They didn't give us MIDI. A tiny little MIDI thing would have been cool. A while ago, UA sent me this as a thanks for the videos I've done for them. I mean, they already paid me for the videos, but they also sent me a Bill Putnam bubblehead. See, they got time to do shit like that, but not do MIDI. It is pretty damn cute. These pedals are great. I mean, the amp pedals, Enigmatic, Line, Dream, Ruby, the Knuckles, the Anti, what am I forgetting? The Woodrow. There's just great pedals. The Astra for modulation, the Delverb for a simpler delay and reverb. Obviously, the Starlight for killer delays. Golden for amazing reverbs. One of my favorites, the Galaxy tape delay and reverb. You've got the Max for killer compressors and tube style preamping. The quality, I think, is unrivaled. But what are you going to do on a pedal board where you need 2 or 3 of these amp simulators? What, you're going to turn them off, turn it on, turn on? You can't do channel switching because you don't have MIDI. How do I know that? Because that's exactly what I've done for a gig a couple years ago. And the sound's amazing, but in the middle of a set, switching anything, forget it. You have one preset depending on the pedal. The Galaxy, for example, doesn't have that at all. You're shit out of luck. How are you going to add MIDI to that? Well, you don't, except for you do. The app could technically switch presets. Are you going to have a Bluetooth app that was not stable and took forever to connect, open and switch presets in the middle of a song? Oh, wait, guys, you can hear the chorus. Once my app connects and I switch to the preset, obviously asinine doesn't work. Well, they heard you, and now for exactly 0 money, they're adding a lot of functionality to these pedals by adding MIDI. They can't physically add a port. Not gonna happen. Port, sailor, prostitute, that's what's in my head. But that's different. Port to drink. I don't drink alcohol. Where was I? They can't add a port, but they have USB-C. So can we control a bunch of UAFX pedals with the new USB-C MIDI capability? Yes, we can, and I'm going to show you how. You have to be a bit versed in MIDI. You have to jump through some hoops that you're going to have to jump through compared to some other pedals to make it work. However, it's a lot better than not having that. And again, it's 0 freaking money. So version number 2 of the UAFX pedals allows you to have, first of all, a much more stable and quicker Bluetooth connectivity. Now you also don't have to do Bluetooth connectivity. You could connect with USB-C and switch pretty damn fast. I actually haven't tried that yet. Maybe we should try that in the video. For which, Michiel, could you go please to the storage? When you enter on the left, there's cables hanging. Get one of the 2-meter Sommer orange USB-C to USB-C cables. Thank you. We have quicker Bluetooth connectivity, but now you can also connect to your smartphone with USB-C. We're going to try it. The app now gives you preset lists, but also CC lists, continuous controller lists, and preset lists. You can load up program changes. What else did they tell me? They respond to MIDI clock, depending on how your pedals is set up. I will show you that. There are more foot switch modes now. So for example, on the Enigmatic, you could actually have 4 presets right on the pedal. A and B and C and D, if you so wanted that. So they added a lot of functionality depending on the pedal. Program changes, continuous controllers. All the amp pedals are now phase aligned. So if you wanted to run them in parallel, one left, one right, that actually works. Thank you. We shall try that with this beautiful Sommer USB-C cable. Love these cables. They're really good. You should get them. And for this really complicated setup, on the floor, I've got a Fulcrum from 901 Sound, which you should be getting. Sorry for the flickering. I also have ridiculous shoes that Leslie got me with these ridiculous socks that she got me yesterday. It looked like Big Bird, but okay. So the Fulcrum allows me to do a parameter this way and a second parameter this way. So we can actually control volume and gain or boost and feedback. You can hook up these pedals with USB-C to your MIDI switcher controller. You do need I would say, more advanced MIDI controller that's relatively easy to program either with an editor or with an onboard touch screen or an editor on your phone or iPad or whatever to really not get frustrated. I'm using the Mortrix, which is on the table over here. The guy's name who makes it is Morten Mortensen, and his thing is called Mortrix. So it makes a lot of sense. I will show you here because it's very easy to show you actual settings and copy, paste, and all that stuff. That thing has a USB-A host out. It actually has two. So I can hook up USB MIDI to it directly. Well, what if you don't have that? What if your MIDI switcher is cool, like you have a Boss ES8 or whatever? I mean, programming on a Boss ES8, trust me, I don't want to do. Or on a gig rig or whatever, without the editor, it will be cumbersome. But what if you have one that only has MIDI out? Well, to test, I ordered this H2 MIDI Pro from CME. CME makes all these little boxes. I've got a splitter back there. They even make little Bluetooth adapters that are Bluetooth to real MIDI or Bluetooth to USB-C. And then you can actually do Bluetooth MIDI, also works. So this thing right here has MIDI in, MIDI out. This is the host, so you can actually get that into one of these pedals. This is for the editor. This is for power. If you have it on the editor, this gives it power. So you can pretty much go in here with your normal MIDI cable, go out with USB-A into a USB-C, and then directly into one of these pedals. But only one. No, that's actually not correct. You can hook up to 8 pedals with this H2 MIDI Pro by using a hub. So your setup, if you have a standard MIDI switcher, get something like this, any box that does MIDI to USB, and then it says up to 8 times, hook up a standard USB hub, and then connect all your pedals. So on your board, you'll have your standard pedals with MIDI or the little MIDI or whatever, and then you'll have one of these under the board, going to a USB hub, going to your universal audio pedals. Is this a pain in the f***ing ass? Sorry, Universal Audio. Yes, it is. However, zero money, and now we can do crazy shit. So it's better than not having it. Oh, by the way, big warning. Took us half a day to figure out why things weren't working the way they were working. This thing, when you first use it, does some kind of basic setup depending on what you got connected. And then when you do a different setup, it doesn't work anymore. It also required a firmware update, which I didn't do. I just thought I'd take it out of the box and it works. No, it ain't working, doing things. When you get it, do a firmware update, quickly do the basic connections in the software. When you hook up the pedals, it actually shows you in the software, Starlight, Golden, whatever you have connected. So that absolutely works. Firmware update will save you a lot of headache. I had the headache for you. Hey, Bill. I do like my Bill Putnam bobblehead. I gotta say, I am rather proud of it. And I don't know why. I have it connected to the Mortrix with USB-A. And then here, behind it, can we actually see that? Oh yeah, I got a 14 euro USB-C hub from Amazon. I have one slot free, which is what I'm going to hopefully use the phone for. And that's going USB-A into the Matrix. So I don't need the CME box. Let me quickly show you a couple of things that I now can do with these pedals. And then I'll show you how I did it and the app. It's cool shit when you put in the work. But I put in the work, and maybe now you don't have to, because I can tell you how it's done for the setup I have. Obviously, I cannot do it on all pedals. That would be completely ridiculous. My setup, you've already basically seen it. So I'm going with the guitar into the line. That's, of course, getting power, USB-C from the hub. And then mono, we're doing mono today, into the Enigmatic. And obviously, we only want to use one of these. We're not going a plexi into a dumble. That makes zero sense. So we've got 2 amps, and we want to do amp switching, right? Into a delay, right? Okay, so which right now, that's what the green thing shows you, is off. So I set it up that this is my tap/preset button. So you switch preset by holding this in long, and then it changes to red. But we want to do that with MIDI. But this is the speed and also showing you if it's on or off. And we need on or off visuals. I made sure that the presets that I programmed use different cabs. So we can actually see on the cab lights up here, you know, whether it's 1, 2, 3, whether we have changed preset or not. When you send a program change, the top cab light should light up. When you send a continuous controller, the bottom cab light should light up. Let's try this. So right now it's actually showing you that on this one, it's getting a program change and a continuous controller. And on the Lion, you can see that it's only getting a continuous controller. Why? I will explain in a second. Let me show you a couple of things I have set up here. So I have 4 presets here, right? This is Enigmatic 0 and 1, oopsie. And that's actually showing you program change 0, program change 1. Down here, I have expression control over overdrive. Here I've got expression control over mix. This is a preset on the Lion, and you can see the Lion now is on and the Enigmatic is off. This up here is another preset on the Lion. And if I go back to Enigmatic, the Lion turns off, Enigmatic turns on. It's exactly what we want to do. And if I change the 2 Enigmatic presets, you can see that the cab changes, right? And it does. These 2 up here are 2 different presets on the Starlight. So if I hit this, the Starlight turns on and gets a preset. If I hit it again, the Starlight will turn off. Oh yeah, now indicated by red. If I hit this, Starlight will turn on and do a preset. So the only issue is if I'm messing with these while it's supposed to be on for this. So I could actually have the wrong program change. So you got to be careful to change states on your MIDI devices while another preset is also changing those states. Obviously. You can see here that they all say enig, 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 enig. These are groups. So when I click this one will automatically turn off. If I click this one will turn off. So they turn each other off. However, these are in a different group, and you can see it doesn't turn that one off. So you have to be a bit smart about that shit. Okay? So quickly illustrating. So here we got Enigmatic with some delay. Dry, but some drive. Lion. With some delay preset. And Lion with some drive. But dry. If I want to now add delay, I can turn on the delay with a preset. Okay. That's a bit quiet on the mix. This was a big discussion with them. If I now change something and hit store, will it store to the currently selected program change? And the answer is yes. It will also create a brand new preset on the user preset list. They will continue on. And how many can you have? 1176. It's a little internal Easter egg. You can have 1176 presets. So every time you store, it will generate a new preset. At some point, you don't even know where they are, which they are. So it's a good idea to go in and erase a couple. If you do 3 changes and hit store, you just created 3 presets. Go back and erase or rename. I don't know how good that system is, but that's how they're doing it. See? Store. But now, because I turned this one on, number 4, I can use my expression. Cool, huh? But what if I have a tempo going? What I can do here is, do you see that dot? That's an LFO. That's now automatically ramping my feedback. That's possible now. How? Well, I went into the list, checked the continuous controllers on Starlight, looked for the number for feedback, and assigned it to the LFO. There's an LFO. That's what it looks like. And I assigned controller 24, and I didn't want the full range. I'm going from 21 to 127. You can do that with the more tricks, okay? But maybe your MIDI switcher does it as well, or you can actually do that from your DAW. If you go into Cubase, Logic, or whatever, you can automate all that stuff now on those trays.
There is too much butter on those trays.
No, senor.
What?
Not on those trays. No, sir. 1, 2, 3.
No.
You can do this on the pedals. That was a faulty Towers joke. On this one, I have mix under my feet. Turn it back off, but now it's, of course, off. But if I go to Enigma 1, there is a delay attached. And again, I put mix on there. It's a different preset. I also have tempo MIDI clock capability turned on the Starlight, I hope. So that means if I start my MIDI clock, there you go. Sometimes when you do a quick ramping or something, you get some kind of artifact, digital bullshit. It's a week before this releases, so we're still in beta, and there's daily updates coming out. So once it releases, first of all, these should be ironed out. And secondly, 0. That's how much you're paying for it. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to work. Obviously, they have a lot of pedals to check, and it can't catch every little thing. Let's go to this one. What's happening there? I've got an overdrive thing on the Enigma, and I can actually overdrive off. You will see once we go into the app that on the Enigma, you can now access with continuous controllers everything, the HRM mode and things you cannot access on the pedal. So if you wanted in a live situation, go from one thing to another, you couldn't. The switches weren't there. It had to be done with the app. This could now all be controlled with MIDI. A couple of other fun things that I did here for you. Let's go to my Brown. Once I click this green thing, turns red. And it doesn't send any continuous controllers yet or program changes. It just has expression control. So you can see there's nothing happening. But on expression 1, I'm sending volume to line in Enigmatic. Doesn't matter what the other one does because it's not on. And on expression 2, I'm sending volume 1, which is pretty much gain, to the line, and overdrive to the Enigmatic. And the way that you see this is right here. You see amp volume is up and down. So if you see my foot pedal, amp volume's up and down, and left and right is gain. Takes some getting used to. Gain is achieved differently on both pedals, obviously, but right now, on the line, this is what it would look like. Little gain and wait. Little gain, more amp volume. That's now possible with the pedals or the boost on the line and the feedback on the delay, for which I have to turn the delay on. And now you can see it. Wait, I need to get the volume somewhere where it's cool. Here we go. You get the idea. That's just shit I done. Is that English? Whatever you want to do, you might have the other pedals. Everything is now MIDI controllable, whether with expression controllers or with MIDI switches, predetermined values that you determine. You could automate things. What does that mean? Do you see the tremolo there? Do you see the tremolo there? I've been at this for days, by the way, so brain shot. That's why we need these guys. No, we don't. If we go in here, while active, we can see an LFO, which is a square wave in eighth notes. And where's it going? It is going to both pedals, Enigmatic and Lion, on continuous controller 7 with these settings. And what's 7? 7's volume. So check that shit out. I gotta start this, make it a bit faster. So here's my brown. So I made myself a tremolo, even though they don't have it. Of course, different waveforms are possible, but that's all in the more tricks. I did something crazy. Yep, massively crazy. I did an envelope. So here's this envelope. Takes about 1 measure to get to the top, and then even longer to get here, and then it holds, and then it goes down. What is it controlling? It's controlling continuous controller 18, from 1 to 9. It's stepping through the cabs on the Enigmatic. Stepping through them in time. Can you see the cabs now actually stepping through? It's going to stop because it's now on the sustain part. And once I hit it, it's going to go to release and step through the last 2 cabs. We're going to do this again. One of them is going to be off, which sounds horrible. Let's listen to that. I mean, this is obviously a very stupid thing to do. Very stupid. But it illustrates what can be done. You could switch cabs in rhythm. Could you switch amps rhythmically? I made an amp sequence. And if you look at it, it's a step sequencer, 8 steps. And on each step, I'm turning 1 off and 1 on with continuous controller 19. 0 is bypassed, 2 is active. Switch it around. Then I've got enigmatic, so it's both of my lions. So I made a rhythm here with the amps. Let's see. So with the right switcher, control, however you want to do it, this selection of pedals, they do have the highest grade effects out there. It's Universal Audio. They know what the fuck they're doing. Right, Bill? You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing when it comes to effects. I might never work with them again. I don't know. It's been many days of MIDI for me. Sorry, Bill. It's all possible. Crazy shit. Boards where you have 4 different really high quality amp simulators going into an aux stomp. Going into an aux stomp where you control the caps, probably the miking, I haven't looked at it, the presets, of course, the built-in effects. Wow. Now effectively making the aux stomp way more powerful than the actual aux, because the aux doesn't have MIDI, this does. Okay, let me quickly show you how it was done. So I'm gonna go into the app here. I don't even know how long is this video and why. So I'm gonna go to Enigmatic here. It does connect quicker and more reliably. Is it quick? No, it's just quicker. There you go. So on FootSwitch, I told you this, and all of them have something kind of new. There is now you have to actually pull down A, B, and C, D. There are possibly some new modes for your pedals. You should check either the documentation or go into the app and check yourself before you wreck yourself. What's possible? A quick note, the Max, the Delverb, and the Galaxy never had presets, meaning they still don't have presets. Meaning, to do presets, you're gonna have to program them with continuous controller messages. It's possible, but it's a chore. I wouldn't. So once you go to MIDI in the top right, there's a program change and a control change page. Again, several hours of my life passed by because I assumed by setting the MIDI channel, I was done. And it didn't accept any continuous controllers. On the continuous controller page, you have also a MIDI channel, and you can, it is automatically disabled, which is, I don't know why. You can have it accept different continuous controllers than program changes on different channels. They have some kind of situation where they say that makes sense and people asked for it. I didn't understand what they were talking about. On the control change, you've got on this one, amp, bass, boost, enable, bright, bypass, cap down, cap select, cap up, channel, deep mid. I mean, you see everything. This has a lot more possible continuous controller parameters than some of the others because it's a more complex pedal. And then you've got these program changes here. So I assigned these presets to these slots, right? So if I go, let's say to preset 0, which we have right here, preset 0, preset 1. Let's do preset 0. Let's change that. I'm gonna give it a bit more of this. So we changed something, and I'm gonna hit save. Now it says edited. I'm gonna hit store, and it replaced it with the newly created Enigmatic 10. I could now go into the presets down here. Don't know why that's blue on brown. That wasn't like that. It also shows you that it's now on FootSwitch B and what is on FootSwitch A. Nice. Because that's how I have it set up, 2 presets. That's Enigmatic 10. I could now, of course, rename it somehow. How do I rename that? Up here. Done. It's called video example of, but it's out. Oh, it's alphabetical. That's not ideal because I don't know when I created that. If it stayed on the very top, I at least would know it's the last one I created. Don't know how happy I am about that. But there's factory preset, artist presets, loads of them, favorites. And then if I go to MIDI, it now says video example. Okay. If you wanted to assign any of these others, for example, I go to presets, favorites, this one, click on the 3 dots, assign to program change slot, slot number 5, confirm, done. So pretty straightforward as far as the presets go. Either send a program change to the pedal, adjust the pedal, store. Never have to use the app. It's how I would like to do it. But know that every time you hit store, it does go into that user preset pool. And you could get that if you could find it, because it does save 1176 presets. So, we already talked about the phase alignment of the amp pedals. We talked about MIDI clock. Let's quickly go into up here, top left, the Starlight. You know, let's try this with USB-C. I haven't. See if it works. Okay, we are now technically connected. Got to switch to USB. Yeah, I mean, maybe if you connect a single one. Yeah, do you want it single? It doesn't. Just use Bluetooth, it's fine. It's just logging in takes 5 seconds. It also didn't like that the Matrix was the host and then this was the host. So no, that wasn't really happening. Pedal not found exactly. We're gonna go back to Bluetooth, Starlight, and do it the old-fashioned way. So here we got the same thing. Look at the MIDI, we got program changes. I put a couple there. We have control changes. You can see which ones they are, right? When you go to settings, preset and tap, and now there is a MIDI clock mode. One thing to note for the Starlight and probably for the maybe Delverb and the Galaxy. Reconnect your pedal. It is. It's still beta, okay? This actually didn't happen the whole time. So what I wanted was set the right foot switch to preset so that I could see very clearly if it was on or off, because then it's not flashing, right? Yeah, but then you actually also, if you take the tap away from the actual pedal, where I don't need it anymore because I have it on my MIDI switcher, you're also taking the whole tap ability away. So you have to have either tap tempo, now you have MIDI clock mode, or preset and tap. So I made that compromise. And the pedal's gone again. Don't ask me why. Worked fine for 2 days. You have continuous controllers in the app. You've got program changes in the app. Things can be governed here. Or print yourself a list of continuous controllers while you're programming and don't look in the app. Because to go between the different pedals, you would have to jump between pedals and disconnect, connect, disconnect, connect. It would be a little bit annoying. I'd rather just have a printout on the table and use that. However, there will be communication between Universal Audio and the manufacturers of MIDI devices like the Matrix, like Morningstar, and so on and so on. And they will actually just, some of them have libraries where you just say, I have a Lion and I want volume. And you don't even care that that's continuous controller number 7. I want it on, off, I want feedback, whatever. So these have libraries where you just pick your pedal and the parameter you want, and it's already stored in there. So I know for sure that Matrix is going to add that as soon as they know that these pedals now have MIDI. And I know that Morningstar is working with UA, and that's going to be the same thing. So you don't really need a hardware printout. Let me quickly show you what I had to do all the cool stuff that you saw. In order to do the amp switching, I need a couple of things to happen. I need to make sure that my Starlight is off if it's supposed to be off. Okay? So I'm sending 19, which is a bypass, to the Starlight. It's not channel. It would be channel 7 here, but I named it Starlight in this device, and now it's just always Starlight, which is very convenient because you have a list, you know, not just of channels, but of devices. In the Starlight, 19 and 0 would be off. 1 would be the left foot switch, 2 would be the right foot switch. We're turning the line off for sure, because we don't want the line and the enigmatic at the same time. So we're sending 0. We're turning the enigmatic on. We're sending 2. We make sure everything is in the state that we want it in, and then I'm sending the program change. In this case, enigmatic program change 0. That's it, right? There's, of course, more under the hood. doesn't really concern us. And then on expression 1, I have controller 23, which is my overdrive, just to illustrate that. On this one, same thing, turning the starlight on, because I want the starlight on. I want the delay on here, right? Turning the line off, turning the enigmatic on. Enigmatic gets program change 1, starlight gets program change 0. Done. And on expression 1, I have starlight 22, which is my mix, but I don't go to full 0, I don't go to full 127. On this one, what do? I want the line on. So starlight is also on because I'm using it. Enigmatic is 0, is off, line is on, and then program changes to line and starlight. This is just a line on dry. But again, starlight off in case it was on before, right? You have to make sure that happens. Enigmatic off because it's amp switching. You want one off, the other one on. Line is getting the on command and then a program change. On the tremolo, I already showed you, all I did is, while it's active, send an LFO, that one, to enigmatic and line on 7, and go on, off, but it's just a continuous controller. Cap envelope I showed you. On these, I showed you they are just continuous controllers routed to my expression pedal. And the amp sequence I showed you. So really, the most important thing to switch in a live situations between your different amps and treat it like a multi-effect, you need to make sure that everything that's not supposed to be on gets an off command. Because if I don't do that, and right here, this is just my starlight on. Program change 4, right? So I'm not sending anything else. Meaning whatever else is on, stays on. Whatever else is off, stays off. And then I've got expression and also the LFO. So what you need to do, the most important thing when you're treating it like a multi-amp setup, and you can of course switch between a whole bunch of amps. Again, with this one, you can go do up to 8. Morten Mortensen from Mortrix said there's really no limit to what can be done with the Mortrix, as not as far as he knows. So you might be able to put all the pedals on there. Right now on the Morningstar, they told me there's a limit of 4, as far as I know. So you need to make sure that you're turning the things off in each preset, not just sending a program change, because then all of a sudden you've got 3 amps on. You need to turn the others off every time. And the way you could do this on this is just copy all. Now I copy this and I do a new preset right here. New preset. I want the starlight off. I want the line on and the enigmatic off. So what I would do is move this. Do 0 here. Do 2 here. Now I do a program change on line to 5. And that's it. Right now, my starlight's still on. Now it isn't. Because the thing said 0. So it looks complicated once you figure it out and you have the right device, like the Mortrix or like the Judas Kidem 406 or the Morningstar or any higher end MIDI switcher. You'll be able to just say, oh, this is my main block for each preset. All I gotta do is pick the numbers. It's doable. It's very doable. Why? Because I spent days figuring this shit out. And I ran into problems like, firmware here, a couple of things. And a couple of things I already pointed out to them. They're already fixed. I'm getting daily updates on the app. And I'm pretty sure whatever didn't work in this video is gonna work in a week. And if not, in 2. Again, if you're moving some parameters quickly, you're getting artifacts, but they're on it. They have a lot of pedals to update. So this is all version 2. If you have the pedals, get version 2 now in your UA Connect software. Update in there, update your app, and together, of course, you can't update the pedals with the app. And the UA Connect software doesn't have the control. It makes no sense. When you're connected with USB-C to your computer, you should be able to just do all the parameters. But no, you need the app for that. But you should be able to update them with the software, but you can't. So update happens in UA Connect. Control happens in UAFX Control from your mobile device. It's awesome that that's now possible. Is it what we wanted with just a MIDI plug? No. Do you need a MIDI to USB converter? Yes. Or a capable device. Do you need a USB-C hub or USB hub? Yes. Is it a pain in the bum? A bit. But can you now build yourself a really awesome board that includes universal audio effects with continuous controllers and presets? Fuck yeah. And that makes them, I would say, almost twice as capable and usable, because they were awesome sounding before, but not very usable in many live situations. And now, like in the studio, you want to build yourself a tremolo, do what I did. You want to switch between amps, start, bam, do that. Let's put a tremolo on it. Done. It's a bit fast, but cool. I figured this out. Many calls with them when I was stuck, but they were very good about it. I mean, to me, if you're trying to reach someone at Universal Audio, good luck, people. This is it. Get your software now. Version 2.0, animals at the end.